Okay, I'm on.
You're on.
Okay, my name is Bennie Smyer. I was born in 1933, June the 6th, in that picture there that's on the table. And that'll probably go down like with the Holy Grail and baby Jesus' manger, because I was born in there in 1936, or 33, and it was during the Depression and the drought. And it was so dry here that we was squeezing bullfrogs for drinking water. And let's see, can you see it? And my grandparents, they moved in here in about 3 from Manassas, Colorado. Ben Miller, Bailey's, and Thompson's, and Butler's all come together. They said they was alkalized out of Manassas, Colorado, but my grandma always told me they got into fights with Mexicans, and Bill Bailey was packing a 4-inch knife in his back, so I suppose he's right. But my grandpa was neighbors to Jack Dempsey. They grew up together in Manassas, but my grandma, she never had no indoor plumbing in that house, and they hauled water in cream cans. And when I stayed with them a lot, and then I went across the road there. We had another place. My grandpa worked for the mortgage company, so they sent him all over the valley, and they foreclosed on about everybody in the valley. And so my mother kept moving, and they even went down in Cold Creek here, and homesteaded, and they had cabins, and they had to stay there during most of the year. And their old homestead, Harley Maggart and Jack Simplot was in 4th or 5th grade or 6th. They rode up there, burnt them old homestead cabins up at where they call Lambert Springs. My brother owns ground there now, and Mahoney's, and I own ground up there now. But them was pretty tough times. My grandma told me that the old Mormon church was up there by Clark's Clinic, and my grandma said they went there for an all-day dinner. She said they left at sunrise out of Water Canyon. They teaming wagons, the Rutledges, and all the people that was homesteading up there. They had kind of a convoy, and they went up there and they stayed all day long. And when they got back to Water Canyon, there's a fork in the road, and they divided up the kids, and my grandpa was a short one, so he backtracked, and he found my uncle laying in the road with a broken nose, wrapped up in a baby blanket. And that's the way they had, and Grandma said he showed up at sunrise, so that's the way they had entertainment. They finally starved out, and Grandma come back to the place that's where the first fair was held from the time the Albion was started until they moved it to Burley in 1919, I think it was. But she was here when they had Diamond Field Jack incarcerated. And my mother she had, my grandpa and grandmother had Ern Miller, James Miller. He was a school teacher, and my uncle Ern farmed. Florence Miller was my mother's sister, and my mother. And my dad come in here in 1933 to work for his aunt and uncle on the Woods Ranch down where Skaggs owns it now. And my dad come up to a social deal with the Pentecostal church. There's quite a lot of the old timers was Pentecostal, and they met and married, and me and my brother come out of that reunion. My brother is Norman Smyer. He's 18 months younger than I am. I'm I'm 76 now, and but I've had a lot of fond memories here, and I didn't go to school very long. Times was kind of tough, and when I come out of the 9th grade, I told my mother, I said, I need 20 bucks. And she said, well, they used to heat up the water and kill chickens, and said, go door to door. And I said, well, there's got to be a better deal than this. So I went to work for Kate Bridger for $3 a day, working from sun up until Idaho would bring me home when it's dark, and it was in the fall of the year, so I had a trap line from the Mahoney Bridge down there, Steve Mahoney's old place, to Albion. So she'd let me out, and I walked home. I caught 14 muskrats, and they were worth about $3, the extra large. So I thought, boy, this ain't too good a deal. I'm working for $3, and I caught 14 muskrats. So I went and told Bob Bailey, get somebody else. I said, I'm just going to crap. And he said, well, you're going to be worthless, just like Carl Farley. He was a government trapper. And about 15 years later, I bought him out. So I didn't do too bad. But anyway, I bought the Bailey place, and later I bought the Mahoney place. And we sold the kids was wanting to do something else, so we sold the Bailey place to Mr. Skaggs and part of the Snodgrass or Mahoney place. And then we come to town and started a bed and breakfast. We didn't know what one was, but we found out. We bought a house that Richardson built, and we got an awful lot of good people there. And we was doing pretty good, I thought. I was married 40 years. And we had Darren was our oldest boy. Roxanne was Roxanne Gillette. She's married to Lawrence Gillette. And Rick Smyer was my third boy. Bennie was my smallest. We had the Bailey place about 20 years before we sold it to Mr. Skaggs. And we had pretty good permits on the Cottrell Mountains, so we trailed cattle in and out. So we got to stay out with the cattle quite a little bit, and the kids got to be pretty good horsemen. And we run some sheep too, to kind of eat the poison plants up. And so we'd go out and take the cattle out May the 1st and bring them back in September. And it was pretty good life. We was running about 330 cattle, and we was dry farming too, so we had a real big job. And then the kids wanted to do a little something else, so it got down to me just running the ground. So we started selling off, and we sold Mr. Skaggs Bailey Ranch and part of it. So we had 320 out by it was the Quinn place where my lodge is and where the Indians was camped when the people went out and shot them up. And I built a little lodge and RV park, and I built some reservoirs, and just trying to make a go of it. I'm 76 years old, and I've had we had to do it mostly by just grit, but we met a lot of good people, and I've got people in there now that's building Demi Moore a house, and Dennis Washington, the guy that owns, he was there today, and I sold a little gravel and just trying to exist, and something but all my kids are pretty close except Rick. He's up at Mackey. And we get there's good hunting in the valley, and there's a lot of good people. Kay, I grew up with Kay Powell and Donald and the Danner family. And in the old days, they was all pretty close. They used to raise a lot of turkeys, and they'd get together in the fall and butcher the turkeys, and then they'd all take them to Swift's in Pocatello. And then a lot of people worked together and put up the hay, but you don't see that no more. They got big equipment, and nobody neighbors anymore. So, but that's about all I can tell you that is true, I guess. Let somebody. Verlene and Kay, they don't know more about history than anybody, but Albion's a real good place to live, and we got 3 cemeteries here to prove that they lived and died here. So, and I suppose I'll be in one of them holes up there someday. But that's about all